Hey guys, welcome to Ask the Agent episode 6. Thanks for joining us. We've got some great content for you today. We really wanted to talk about the 3 critical factors that are going to affect every home sale. Obviously, for those of you guys in the business, the price is going to be number 1. So let's hit that first. I've got my listing specialist here, Adam Rovithis, with us today, out on listing presentations all the time. So we can kind of ask some of the questions that are coming up out in the field. So we all are doing market analysis, right? Yep. So I think everybody should know how to do that. But you get the market analysis, you present it to the seller, and he goes, well, why don't we try it a little bit higher, right?
Yeah.
What do you tell that seller?
Yeah. I think it's important to understand that, your sellers, we're trying to appease 2 people in this situation. The first is the bank, and the second is the actual buyer who falls in love with your home. One's putting down typically 0 to 3.5%, and the other one's putting down 96.5 to 100%. And when we're pricing a home too high, we're not going to get that second person, the bank, to be able to lend money on it. So, here's a graph of what we consider when we price a home above fair market value, right? So this middle line here is fair market value. And what this is this is the percentage of people that are going to actually get out of their computer chair and walk into your seller's home if it's priced at fair market value. So you'll notice it's about 50% or 5 out of 10. So the pool that's ready, willing, and able to buy your seller's home, 50% of those are going to show up. If you price it as little as 10% above, so $200,000 house, now you're at $220,000, only one person's walking through the door. That's a big deal, right? We're only going to get maybe an offer, right, versus 2 or 3 offers. And then, once in a while, we'll need to price below, and you can see the whole market's going to show up. So there's a, kind of fair market value, above fair market value, below fair market value where you can talk about on pricing.
And then if he's still really adamant, we got another graph here where we got to talk about, the buyer's perceived value over time, right? And so one thing to make sure that your sellers understand is, when that property first hits the market, if we're overpriced, you've lost your greatest opportunity to get that top dollar, right? All these buyers that are looking at it, they pass. Those first couple of weeks, you guys know, when this thing hits, if you're in a low inventory marketplace, it's going to be hot right away, and if they pass, now this is the days on market going down, and the value of that property just dropping. And you've been out there in the marketplace, and a property that in a quick low absorption rate market, if it's been on 30, 60, 90 days, the buyer turns to you and says, well, what's wrong with this house? That's the first thing that they're thinking, when really, at the end of the day, nothing wrong with the house. It was just a pricing issue.
I think this downward slope could start as soon as 10 days on market. After 10 days, everyone's had an opportunity to come. Even if you're on vacation for 7 days, the whole market's seeing your house by day 10. So the fair market value starts to drop quickly, a couple weeks.
So a couple of strategies there to really try and convince that seller that you've got to come on at a reasonable number. So second thing that we're going to talk about today is condition of the property. And this is becoming more and more important to make sure that your sellers are getting their property into the best condition, because it's going to affect all the different marketing that we do, whether it's photos or videos down the road. It's not going to show well if it's not cleaned up. So what are you telling these guys when they say, I'm living here and I don't have time to clean up the countertops and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, very, very common comment. I think the first thing is you have to empathize with them and let them know, you're hiring me to get you top dollar as quickly as possible. This is a strategy that works. And P.S., you're moving anyway. We will get this home sold. Okay, so let's start packing up. I'm never concerned about maybe half of the garage bay is full or some of the closets are jam-packed. That's okay. What we want buyers to feel as they're walking through the house is that their stuff can be in the house, so when I'm talking to clients about kitchen countertops, I want everything cleared off, right? It's not a matter of, is my Keurig going to fit on the countertop? It's, I got a room for my Keurig, I've got room for my fruit bowls, all of those things. And then when you're walking in bedrooms, I often hear people, we've got room for our king bed and our dresser could go over there. So when we're talking about bedrooms, we want minimal furniture, right? A bed, maybe a dresser and a TV. Get everything else out of there. You can still live comfortably, yet your home's going to show in the best possible light. Not to mention, when we're getting the home ready, we want the photos to look as good as possible, because first impression, Steve.
Yep. Very important.
Over 90% of buyers are starting online, so we've got to have a good first impression. And having the rooms cleaned out is going to show space.
I think the other thing that you got to take in consideration when you're talking to that seller is, if you can have some time up front to pack this stuff up, because they're going to pack anyway, like you talked about.
Right.
So, hey, we might not be coming on the market for a couple of weeks, gives you that time. If you're going to wait until the last minute, now it's stressful enough already selling a property, right, Mr. Seller? I don't want to put any more stress on you. So let's get this thing tidied up a little bit ahead of time. Let's, if we've got to rent a storage compartment or something to put some of the stuff in, or fill those closets, the garage. So I think those are some of the good strategies that we can use there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So last thing, marketing, right? So we've talked about pricing it right, making sure the property's in the best condition, and then you got to market these things. From being in the business for a while, I think that's a place where a lot of agents, they really get lazy, and they're sitting down at a kitchen table talking to a seller and saying, hire me, I'm going to market this property. In reality, they're taking a sign from the broker's garage, they're sticking it in the front lawn, enter it into the MLS system, and then they sit back and they pray and hope that one of the other agents in the marketplace brings them a buyer. Right, so we've got to be proactive with our marketing. Some of the top things that you're doing for our listings. What would you say?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is having an open house that first weekend it comes to market. And we tell the sellers, hey, look, we're going to throw a party here. The summer is one of the best times to have open houses. We've done cookouts, we've had wine and cheese. We want, we throw music on. When people walk in the house, we want them to feel like they're having a good time. We do a lot of marketing around the open house, so we're inviting the neighbors, we're inviting friends. So I think that first mega open house where you're going to get the majority of people, it's important to go all out on those. We're doing video. One of the interesting things about our business, unlike many other sales businesses, that we never have a chance to actually talk to the buyer. The buyer is normally represented by another agent. So we're using video to basically walk a buyer through the house and tell them all the features that we would show if we were working with them, right? And then the last is social media. Obviously, it's Zillow is a big player, number one visited real estate website in the world, but what about Facebook, right? Number one website in the world, never mind real estate. So we've got to make sure we're advertising there. And it's just, again, open house, we're getting that word out on all the social media platforms.
Yeah, so you can't be just relying on the Zillows, the Realtors, the Trulias of the world. You've got to take advantage of those social platforms. There's so many eyeballs that you can get there. And then you can do some targeted marketing based on that, depending on what kind of inventory that you have. So, that's some good marketing stuff. I hope you guys got some value out of this one. Price, condition, and marketing, take it to the next level, be able to handle some of those objections. We'd love to hear with you any other things that you'd like us to discuss on the show. Please leave us some comments, hearts, likes below. We'll see you guys next week. We're going to be live from Las Vegas.
Woo! See you guys next time.